Hey everyone, get ready for a deep dive. We're talking about the future of money.
Exciting. Right.
And we're going way back to basics, like way back.
Before Bitcoin, before credit cards even.
We're talking about cash, people.
The OG payment method.
So is cash going extinct?
Well, that's what we're here to find out.
We've got this brand new study from MarketAgent, the European market research firm.
They asked over 26,000 people across 10 European countries about, well,
how they feel about paying for stuff.
exactly. Cash, cards, the whole shebang.
And get this, it gets kind of deep.
Oh yeah, we're talking psychology here, cultural trends.
Maybe even a little philosophy. What does it say about us if we ditch actual money?
Right. Like, are we about to be living in a world where we just tap our phones for everything?
Empty wallets, no more loose change jingling in our pockets.
Well, hold on a second. This study threw us a curveball.
Oh.
Big time. You'd think cash is going the way of the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, seems kind of old-fashioned.
But across these 10 countries in Europe, people actually like cash the most.
Seriously. More than all the fancy digital options.
You heard that right. And get this, they find it the most secure too.
Wait, more secure? How is that even possible?
I know, right? It's like more secure than all the digital encryption and everything.
Okay, you've got to explain this one. Why do people love cash so much?
Well, the study dug into the why, and one big reason is anonymity.
Anonymity.
Yeah, no digital footprints.
Yeah.
No one tracking your every purchase, which people really seem to value.
That makes sense, actually. But isn't that a double-edged sword? What if you lose your wallet?
Yeah.
Cash gone, right?
True, true. With digital, you might have some protection.
Exactly. So there's a trade-off there.
And that leads to another reason people like cash.
Which is?
Control. You hold it, it's yours. Real, tangible. Provides a feeling of security, especially with all the data breaches and identity theft happening.
Yeah, in a world that feels out of control, I can see the appeal of that.
Right.
But let's be real, digital is just easier.
It's hard to beat that convenience, right? And looking at the big picture, it seems like the future, you know.
Like it or not, digital is here to stay.
Exactly. And the data backs it up. 61% of people in this study are using cash less than they did just 10 years ago.
Wow, 61%. That's a pretty big jump.
Huge.
So people like cash, but they're using it less. Make up your minds, people. What's the deal?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, like almost contradictory.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. Tell me more.
So despite using it less, a whopping 75% of people said they would miss cash if it just disappeared completely.
Wow, 75%. Seriously,
Like,
that's a lot of people missing cash.
Right.
So why would they miss something they barely use? This is messing with my brain.
see, this is where the psychology of money kicks in.
Oh, here we go, getting all deep on me.
I want it all. We crave the ease and speed of digital, right?
Yeah.
It's just so seamless. But then there's this emotional, almost sentimental attachment to cash.
It's like that old t-shirt you can't get rid of, even though you never wear it anymore.
Exactly. It's comfy, familiar.
But it's more than just sentimentality, right? Like, what if your phone dies?
Precisely. Suddenly that $5 bill doesn't seem so useless, huh?
Nope.
And what about people who can't just adapt to a fully digital world easily?
Yeah, like my grandma, she still writes checks for everything. She can barely work her smartphone.
Exactly. This whole cash versus digital thing is a lot more complicated than it
Yeah,
seems.
it really is so many angles to consider. And I'm guessing different countries are handling this in different ways.
You bet. The study found that Austria is like the poster child for cash love. 85% of Austrians would miss physical money if it vanished. That's 10% higher than everyone else.
Wow, the Austrians are really clinging to their euros. But why? What's going on there?
Well, to understand Austria, we need to look at the bigger picture. A cashless society.
Ooh, now we're getting to the good stuff.
The good, the bad, and the potentially ugly.
I'm ready. Let's do it. So before we were talking about Austria
Austria.
and their love of cash.
Oh yeah, they really stand out in this study.
85%, they said, would miss it if it was gone.
It's a strong attachment for sure.
So are they onto something or just stuck in their ways?
I think it's deeper than just being stuck.
Okay, so what is it about cash that speaks to them so much?
It's about values, right? Like Austria highlights this tension between, the rise of digital payments, which is undeniable.
Yeah, everyone's using them more and more.
But at the same time, there's this pull towards what cash represents.
So it's more than just practicality then.
Exactly. It's symbolic almost.
Okay, so for Austrians specifically, what are those values tied to cash?
Well, the study's really interesting here. Because Austrians were the most concerned about a cashless society.
More than any other country.
Way more. Especially about the downsides.
You know, what are they worried about?
Tech failures, for one.
Yeah, like what if the system crashes and you can't buy anything?
Exactly. Or your phone dies, no internet, you're stranded.
Suddenly that 20 in your wallet seems pretty important.
And they worry about control, too.
Control.
Over their own money. Like, with digital, it's all trackable, right? Every purchase.
And who has access to that data? That's a little Big Brother-ish, isn't it?
That's the fear, right? Loss of privacy, potential for misuse.
So for them, cash is about holding on to something tangible, something they have power over.
Exactly. In a world that feels increasingly out of our hands.
And uncertain. Like, who knows what the future holds, but at least with cash.
You know what you've got.
It's reliable, in a way.
Yours, no one else's.
But I gotta say, a lot of people seem fine with giving that up.
Oh, for sure. Convenience is a powerful force.
Like, look at how quickly we all jumped on contactless payments, online banking.
It's just easier.
But now I'm wondering, are we giving up too much? Like, the Austrians make me think twice.
That's the whole point, right? It's not about saying one way is right or wrong.
But having the conversation, weighing the pros and cons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there are downsides, for sure.
Besides the tech stuff, like you said, what else worries people?
Inequality is a big one.
Inequality, how so?
Not everyone has equal access to technology, right?
True, not everyone has the latest smartphone.
Or reliable internet. Think about rural communities, older folks.
Yeah, my grandma again. She can barely send an email, let alone manage her finances online.
It could leave a lot of people behind.
And what about those little things we take for granted, like tipping?
Good point.
Giving your grandkids birthday money. Those traditions seem hard to replicate digitally.
It's about more than just the transaction, right?
Yeah.
It's social, emotional.
You mentioned privacy before, too, and it made me think.
Yeah.
In a cashless world, is that gone completely?
It's a valid concern, definitely.
I mean, we give up so much data already. Online shopping, social media.
It's become normal almost.
But money feels different, you know?
It's personal, tied to our identity, our sense of freedom.
So are we doomed to lose that if cash goes away?
I don't think it's about doom and gloom, more like finding a balance.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we reconcile our need for convenience with these concerns?
That's the million-dollar question. And I think the answer is it's not one or the other.
Not cash or our digital, but
both. We need a system that offers choice, that works for everyone.
More inclusive, you mean?
Exactly, where your age, your tech skills, your comfort level.
Don't dictate how you can participate in the economy.
That's the goal. Right.
It's a nice thought, but is it realistic?
I think it has to be, if we're being honest about the challenge.
About the cultural differences. We keep talking about Europe, but...
Oh, globally, this looks totally different.
Cash plays such a different role in other parts of the world.
So the future of money, it's not one size fits all.
It's going to vary wildly depending on where you are.
And what we value, what our needs are.
So maybe the question isn't if we're going cashless, but...
what kind of cashless world we're building.
And who it works for, who it leaves behind.
Now you're getting it. It's about shaping the future, not just letting it happen.
I like that. Shaping the future, it feels more proactive.
Yeah, exactly. We have a say in this.
This whole conversation, it's made me realize.
Yeah.
We've been talking about how people feel about cash and digital, their likes, dislikes.
Right, their opinions, concerns.
Well, what about what they actually do?
Now you're getting to the heart of it.
Because, let's be real, sometimes those don't line up.
All the time.
So are people who say they'll miss cash actually using it less and less?
Great question. And unfortunately, this study doesn't answer that.
It's about attitudes, not behaviors.
Exactly. But that's where the real story is.
So we need to look at spending habits,
Yeah.
actual transactions.
To see if those sentimental attachments translate into real-world choices.
Now, that's interesting because what if they don't?
What if?
What if we're so used to digital convenience that
we forget we even miss cash.
it's like that saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. But maybe.
Convenience makes the heart forget.
Exactly. We adapt. We always do.
Think about how quickly we embraced streaming services.
Nobody's lining up outside Blockbuster anymore.
Exactly. Sometimes the old ways just can't compete.
So is cash doomed then? Or does it have a fighting chance?
To answer that, we need to go even deeper into the psychology of money itself.
Ooh, now we're really going down the rabbit hole.
Because it's not just about transactions, it's about what money represents to us on a fundamental level.
Psychology of money, huh? I gotta be honest, I never really thought about money like that.
It's fascinating, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's more than just, dollars and cents.
Yeah, I guess it's how we live, right? Pay our bills, buy stuff.
Exactly. But it's also security, freedom, independence.
Okay, yeah. When you put it like that, it's kind of deep.
It's tied to our goals, our values even.
So how does that fit into this whole cash versus digital thing?
Because those needs, those desires, they don't just disappear when we use a different payment method.
So even if we're using cash less, we still, feel something for it.
Exactly. The study found that emotional connection is still strong.
Like that feeling of control we talked about.
Yeah, it's a big one. There's a psychological weight to cash that digital struggles to replicate.
It's like you can hold it, smell it, even...
It engages our senses.
Yeah.
Digital is just kind of cold.
When I was a kid, I used to love getting crisp new bills for my birthday.
There's something about it, right?
That smell, it meant possibility.
It's symbolic, too. We say, cold, hard cash, show me the money.
To get that weight behind it.
And rituals. Tipping, allowances, those feel different digitally.
Yeah, less personal somehow.
So losing those rituals in a cashless world, that worries people.
It's not just about the money itself, it's what it represents.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
social, the emotional, it's all tied in.
So how do we hold on to that as we move towards digital?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's an easy answer.
Because we want it all, right? Convenience, but also that connection.
We need innovation, for sure. Payment systems that are more inclusive, more thoughtful.
Designed with these needs in mind.
Exactly. But also we need awareness.
Like understanding our own relationship with money.
Knowing what we value, what we're willing to give up or not.
And speaking up about it.
Exactly. This isn't just happening to us. We're shaping this future.
By the choices we make, the technologies we embrace or reject.
So if you're worried about privacy, say something. If you love the convenience of digital, use it.
But be informed. Don't just go with the flow.
The future of money, it's a story that's still being written.
And we're all part of it, in a way.
That's right. So stay curious, stay engaged.
And keep asking those tough questions.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been quite the deep dive, I gotta say.
We covered a lot of ground.
Cash, digital, psychology, the future,
It's a complex issue.
and it's constantly evolving.
Who knows what's next, right?
Yeah.
New innovations, new challenges.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be interesting to watch it all unfold.
That it will.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the future of money.
It was a pleasure being here.
Until next time, happy spending, everyone.